Hey everyone, welcome to Astral Projection Stories. Today I am grateful to have the opportunity to interview a member of our Facebook group, Christopher Palus. Is it Palus? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's good. Palus is
Pa-
good.
how do you really say it?
Yeah, Palus, actually.
Palus. Palus.
Yeah, exactly. But that's fine. I mean, I guess that's the way you pronounce it, right? Over
Thanks,
there.
man. You're being nice. Thanks, Chris. So thank you, Christopher, for being here. Is there anything that you'd like to say or promote or anything like that
Oh, no,
before we
no.
get started?
Don't worry about it.
Nothing.
Nothing to promote. No.
Okay. So I guess before we get into the metaphysical aspect of it and your experiences and stuff, you want to give just a quick little introduction of yourself, or would you rather just hop into the meat and potatoes?
Well, actually, I would like to say that I have always had this sort of sleep paralysis. I started having them at the age of 6, I think. But I didn't know that actually that could help me get out of my body eventually. And I think it was just this year that I was able to do so. I mean, it had happened once before, but I was not sure because the first time it happened, I got scared. And when I thought of coming back to my body, I immediately went back in there. And sometimes I had this sleep paralysis where I could move at least my hand or parts of my body, but just that, right? And usually they were kind of frightening at first because you hear things like, I don't know, people walking around or maybe some noises in your room or things that are not supposed to be there but that are there. But I started trying to learn more about it this year because my mom died last year in December, and an ex boyfriend also died this year in March. He was killed. He was drugged and well, he died.
Sorry.
And yeah, and that's why I tried to contact them. And I thought the only way to do so was by astral projection. So I started reading information and got this book from William Bullman. And what is the name of it? Adventures Out of the Body, right? And he mentions so many things there about how to do it. He talks about his experiences, and at the same time he mentions like the steps you can follow, the different steps, right? Different methods. And the first time I tried these methods, they didn't seem to work. There was one about the rope, for example, that you were supposed to imagine like a rope hanging
Oh
from the
yeah.
ceiling, yeah, and try
Yeah.
to pull yourself out. But I could feel the rope. I could just pull it, but nothing happened.
Huh.
Then like rolling in your bed, but again, nothing happened when I tried.
And real
Uh,
quick, Chris, you were
yeah.
trying those exit techniques while you were in a state of mind awake, body asleep, or like
Oh,
what
yeah.
was your state of consciousness?
Yeah, of course.
When
I tried these techniques to first kind of get paralyzed, get sleep paralysis, to get to that state. I relax myself, like I try to relax my body, my muscles, even the face, right? The muscle you have there, my jaw, and then try to just calm my mind too. And then either I fell asleep or I got this sort of consciousness while my body was paralyzed. So getting paralyzed was actually a door to getting into this experience. So once I got paralyzed, I couldn't hear anything. I could just see my curtains just in front of me. I imagined this rope. I mean, I could just feel it with my hands, but I couldn't do anything else. One day, I decided to just sit down. I mean, just get up and get out of my bed, and it worked. I sat. I didn't see my body. I didn't want to look at it, but I felt that I was out. And I thought of first checking what one friend was doing at the moment, and I just sort of saw a dog, a little white dog, walking in the street in a park, and I heard some voices, like a conversation. And eventually, I asked him if actually if that was what he was doing at the time, and he confirmed the information that he actually was at the park. He saw a white dog walking, and there were some people talking. So I think those were the ones that I heard when I was at that state. And then I thought of talking to my ex-boyfriend, the one that passed away this year, and everything just turned black. Everything was dark. I couldn't see anything and hear anything. I started like calling him out, and then I heard his voice, and he said, "Chris," and I say, "Yes, it's me," and I couldn't speak. I felt so overwhelmed and anxious at the time, and I started saying, "I'm sorry because I had done some things that were wrong before all that happened." And he said, "Why haven't you texted me?" And I said, "Well, you are dead. I mean, this happened." And I started like talking to him about all that happened, and he was like, "What?" And then there was a silence, sorry, and he said, "I don't know what people are talking about me now, but that really worries me." And then I tried to reply to what he said, and I woke up. That was the first experience this year.
Wow.
Yes, and then I talked to him again like 2 weeks after that. I had, some experiences there, but at the end of that experience, again, I entered a room where everything was dark. I started calling his name again out, and he replied to me. And this time, he told me that he was gonna visit me on December 16th. That he was told that that was the date he could come back. And then at the end of that, I asked for forgiveness. I told him that I loved him, and he said that I had treated him badly, right? And he was kind of indignant. And then I tried to reply, and then I woke up. And that was the last time I talked to him in that way, right?
Wow.
Afterwards, I had just some experiences in which I could walk out of the room, but every time I tried to see what was around, I went back straight to my body. So I don't know. I've heard and I've read some information about people who can just float around, see everything, right? But I can. If I do that, I go straight to my body. So I have to be with my eyes shut. I walk out, and then eventually I start seeing some things, and then I can have the experience. It's not right away.
Interesting. That reminds me of Rick. Oh, yeah. Are you familiar with Rick from Astral Club, the one that I interviewed a month ago or so? Are you familiar with his?
I haven't seen the video.
So he has his own YouTube channel, Astral Projection, and he gives tips. And one of his biggest tips is, as soon as you get out of your body, get the hell out. He says, get as far away as possible. What he likes to do is he just shoots all the way up into outer space or whatever, the skies, because he says when you stick around your body or even look back at it, somehow, some way, it just, I don't know, it like sucks you back in or you get magnetized back in.
Exactly.
It's probably not the same case with everybody. I don't know, maybe, but that's just one of his tips is, once you get out, don't stick around your body, go somewhere else. So it sounds exactly kind of what you're dealing with, when you stick around your body, you're just back in.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Man, that is super interesting stuff, Chris. Super interesting. So age of 6, sleep paralysis. You started getting it, and then how old are you now, if you don't mind me asking? Or
30,
you don't even have
yeah,
to say?
no, don't worry. 38.
38. Oh, cool. I'm right next to you. So you. What was I saying? So 38 now. So it was this year that you decided to dive into figuring out sleep paralysis and that being a doorway to astral projection. Was it this year?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had just I've gotten some information before about that. Like the sleep paralysis could be like a doorway to that, but I had never tried it before. Like it was just an idea. I just wanted to research more information. But that was it. I didn't do anything. But starting this year, I decided to go beyond because I had this goal, to talk to my deceased loved ones, my mom and Juan.
Did you have a chance to talk to your mom? Did you connect with her?
No, not yet.
But you've had the intention of going in and finding her, I'm assuming?
At first, yeah, I did, but since I had all this guilt because of what happened to my ex-boyfriend, my focus was on that.
Yeah.
On him.
Yeah.
But now after how many months? 6 months. I think I feel a bit better. I still feel sad from time to time because there are so many memories and so many things I would like to tell him. But I guess when I feel much better, I will be able to probably try to contact my mom.
Yeah, it'll help you move on from the other current situation with Juan. So that's so interesting. Wow, that's so interesting. So you contacted Juan, and you've said your piece. You've told them you're so, you told them you're sorry and everything like that. You've expressed that. It almost sounds, and so far he has not given you a clear, you're forgiven kind of a thing.
No, I
That's
think
so,
I've been trying to get that just
yeah,
to
yeah.
feel at peace, but I haven't gotten that yet. And I guess I will be kind of selfish. I don't know, but I mean, I'm just talking about myself, right? But I think it's not that easy to contact people who have just passed away, right?
Yeah.
So anything I get from him or her, I think that will be just sort of enough because it's not something you can do like on a daily basis or something easy to get, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's impressive. You clearly have a gift to be able to go your whole life, and then all of a sudden at your age now you decide to dive into it, and next thing you know you're off and running. You clearly have a gift, and I'm super happy for you. That's amazing, man. That you're able to achieve astral projection that quickly. Did did it take you a while of practicing, or did you, as soon as you found out sleep paralysis is a gateway and you found out what to do, like how long did it take you before you had your successful?
I think like 2 months, more or
Two
less,
months.
because I tried like every day, every single day, to have this sleep paralysis, but it didn't seem to work. I tried different techniques, but I think once you get that technique or that sequence of techniques that help you, you just stick to that and you continue doing it.
That's
For example, what I do is I just lie down. I cover myself with a blanket because sometimes it's too cold. And
yeah.
I've heard that some people prefer to be uncomfortable to get in this kind of a state, but I can't.
Oh,
I have
really?
to be comfortable. Yeah. And then I just start to breathe deeply, exhaling and inhaling. And then I
Quick
imagine a
breaths
sort of light.
quick
Just,
breaths or slow deep breaths, in and out.
yeah.
Quick
Like
quick
7 or 8. No, no, no. They have to be like
like
I just keep the air there for some seconds and then I exhale. Right? I tend to do that. Then I imagine a kind of light because I read that in I think William Bullman's book. A kind of light that is here over your head and then like it goes over all your body, and it's like it sort of relaxes your muscles because you imagine this light going through your thorax and then your arms, then your legs, your feet, and then you just find yourself relaxed. I can feel when I am relaxed because my hands are heavy. That's the way I know when I'm totally relaxed.
oh
And then
really?
I,
What,
yes,
their hands just feel heavy?
yeah, I know it's weird. I don't know how to explain it.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's cool,
Yeah.
man.
And then well, I've tried this kind of, I don't know how to say that. There are no chants, but those are words that you repeat like
Oh,
with
like mantras, like mantras.
mantras. Yes, that's a word. Uh-huh. Like Pharaon or and that has had an effect, I think. And also, just to finish that, I start thinking, for example, okay, you are gonna leave your body. You're gonna leave your body, and I keep repeating that to myself several times, and that I think makes me keep my mind awake. Yes, and then one day it just worked. I just found myself paralyzed, and I tried all these things I told you about, and the funny thing is that at first, when I walked around with my eyes closed and everything was dark, I felt people around. But these people were weird because they had these parts of the body that were wet. I touched their heads and they were wet.
Huh.
They were not scary. I didn't feel scared, but it was weird
W-
anyway, right?
Were they humanoid? Did they have
I don't
a?
know. I couldn't see them because I had my
Oh,
eyes closed.
yeah.
Yes, and
Wow.
it has happened several times that I have touched them. Even I once I leave my house and I jump very high, I start flying, and in the air I felt two hands, like no, two people who held my hands, and I touched their heads and they were wet, so I assumed they were the same people. But they were trying to pull me back, but not like in a forceful way, just like very kindly, gently, and I didn't feel that they were gonna attack me or want to hurt me at all. So I just came back. No?
You kind of took their advice. You were like, okay, guys, I'll head back then.
Yeah, and I have
Maybe they're.
felt them several times when I have tried
Oh,
to leave my body.
Maybe they're your guardian angels or something, or spirit guides or something like that, or I don't know.
I don't know. Once I talked to a person who is more experienced, and he told me that I was like in the a low astral. I think that's the name of it, because there are
Yep.
like planes, and the higher you are is because of your vibrations, and they are like very high. But I was supposed to be in a low place, and I don't really know. I just know that they were not like scary at all, and I didn't feel like a little. I don't know, as if they were gonna attack me or something like that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Man, so cool, Chris. So, well, I think Juan's gonna come around. It kind of sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, almost like he has some processing to do on his end in order to give you that hey, you're forgiven. It's all good. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe
Yeah.
he's because I mean I'm guessing even on the other side you still have some. You're still trying to figure things out. You're still trying to level up. You're still figuring. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. I'm just shooting it out there to you. But he'll get there, and you've said your piece, so that's huge. That's awesome of you. And then you're going to visit your mom. You're going to talk to her, have a conversation with her sometime in the future.
Yeah, who knows? I really hope that I can get to that plane, because I know that it's like a higher place, but as I said, you have to be at certain frequency or vibrational state or something. That's at least what I have read, but I
Yeah.
think I'm not there yet. I mean, I can just the experiences I have had involve, for example, situations that are sort of normal. Like sometimes I walk out and I start seeing things. I repeat to myself, clarity now, that are phrases that William Bullman uses in his book, and it has sort of worked. And then I see my mom, I see my brother, but they are not like in this reality. It seems that they are in another reality, like in another parallel universe. And I just look at them and interact with them. And I always end up saying to them that I come from another timeline, that I'm not that Chris that they think I am. And it happens a lot. There are different situations, but I cannot get out of that. I mean, I wish I could go higher and go to other planes or places that I have read about, like beautiful gardens, flowers, beautiful skies with lights and stuff like that, but I'm not there yet. So I guess I have
Yeah.
still to work on me a little bit more.
Oh
On myself.
yeah, yeah. You'll definitely get there for sure. I mean, especially since you've what we just talked about it this year. You've gotten into astral projection and you're already successful. So I'm sure you'll be traveling to all sorts of different planes and having all sorts of amazing adventures and going to all that and sometime soon. The more you do it, the better you get. So you'll get there.
Yeah, I hope
Um,
so.
I hope I can get there like you. So what is your so how I don't know. Do you feel like what's the space between your astral projections? Like, does it take a lot of energy and you need to regain it before you AP again, or
I think that's actually something I've heard, and I think that's true because, for example, the last time I had these kind of experiences was like on September the 2nd. And so far, I haven't had any more experiences. I've tried every day to do so, but I don't know. Maybe it has to do with energy. Maybe I have just run out of energy, and I need to maybe get some kind of refill.
yeah,
I've heard
yeah,
that things like, how do you call this thing? There's a technique in which you put your hands over your body and you give energy to yourself, but I don't remember the name now. I think I need to.
Reiki, is that Reiki?
Yeah, exactly.
Reiki, yeah,
Yeah, Ricky.
yeah.
Yes, that one. And I've seen so many people doing that before, like trying to astral project, because that is like a way to get energy and to feel readier for the experience. And maybe that's what I like now because I haven't been able to do it again. I mean, so far.
Yeah, yeah. And I also heard about moon cycles. I also interviewed Nora from the channel as well, but we cut off towards the end, so we haven't been able to finish that interview. But anyway, she is an experienced astral projector, and she actually says whenever the full moon comes around, she actually has more astral projections. So maybe the full moon gives you more energy as well, and raises your chances of having an astral projection. I don't know if you've found any correlation with that or not.
No, I've never heard of that, but I mean, it wouldn't hurt to try. I mean, if that is a way to get energy,
It
I would
sounds like
do it.
it sounds like you're trying every day, though, right? You practiced every day.
Yeah, I mean, I work in the morning till 9 a.m., then in the afternoon and in the evening. I work the whole day. But I have like 2 hours to go to the gym to exercise, and then
Oh,
two
nice.
hours to try to astral project. So I sort of take a nap, and sometimes I just fall asleep, but sometimes it works, and I can just get out of my body.
Oh, cool. So all right. So you practice. It's not like you get in your bed before you go to sleep for the night and practice. You
I've
practice. You
tried.
take. You,
I've tried to do that at night before going to bed, but what happens is that I just fall asleep and nothing happens.
yeah.
I've done so many times at night, but it doesn't work. So I think that the best time for me is like at 11 a.m. or noon.
Yeah.
At least I have had experiences at that time.
I gotcha.
Yes.
That's cool, Chris. That's so awesome, man. Um, wow. Are there any other adventures, experiences that you've had, even if they're just little things where it kind of like you saw the guy walking his dog, right? Wasn't that one? You have anything like that?
I only had one that was, I think, the coolest one so far. I left my house. I could see. I wanted to go to my ex-boyfriend's house. Yes, and I started flying. And the moment I said Compostela, which is the name of the street, I was pulled up in the sky. Like I soared, and I could see everything like getting smaller and smaller. And then I appeared somewhere with a woman. There was a woman, a young lady, wearing a purple coat and a purple hat. And she smiled at me and she told me, "You were not supposed to run like that." And I said, "I didn't know. I mean, I only always get stuck in those curtains I have in front of me when I open my eyes, so I didn't know what to do." And she said, come with me." And then she took me to this balcony where I could see a sort of beach, but it was kind of strange. I couldn't see it very well. It was like it took a lot of energy from me or effort to do so. And then I appeared in a big pool, and I was like falling, but I wasn't drowning because I knew that it was not real water. And then I saw a message that said, "Don't be sad," and I woke up. That was
Oh,
the only experience I had that was kind of different from the other ones, right?
yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. You have any idea who you think that girl might be?
No idea. I asked her if she was my guide because I was like clueless. I've always heard things about guides and masters
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I asked her. She just smiled and she said, "Come with me," and that was it. I
And
sat
you,
in on the balcony, and then I couldn't like hold it much because I couldn't see, and I went back.
that's cool.
I appeared in this place, no, full of water, and then I came back to my body.
Could you read her energy? Is that something that you just found natural to find someone's intention, or if they're good or evil? Is that could you do that in the astral?
No, I don't know how to do that. Maybe you have had some experiences shared by other people about that.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, I'm just wondering if you. Yeah, I gotcha. So that's
Mm.
not you'll get there though, right? That's another thing that you'll be able to do in no time.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, that's just the coolest one I have had so far. Apart from, of course, talking to my ex boyfriend.
Yeah.
And another one that was scary was that one day I tried to also walk to the living room, and there was a lady there, and she started talking to me about my zodiac sign and about the future, and I was just listening to her attentively, just to see what was gonna happen because I was like clueless too. And then she started like shaking and trembling strongly, and I heard another voice that was screaming, and she said, "Please get me out of here, please get me out of here." And I didn't know what to do, and then she stood up and had a knife in her hand and tried to hurt me, but I was like clueless because that had never happened to me before in the astral projection. It was
Yeah.
like so weird. And then I just thought of going back to my body. And when you do that, when you are in that sort of experience, you immediately go to your body. So I thought, okay, I want to go back to my body, and I appeared on my bed again. So and then I woke up. That is the
Wow.
scariest experience I've had so far.
Yeah. Did you, I'm guessing you had fear running through you in the astral when you decided to go back to your body. You were very fearful when she
Yeah,
was
no moment yet because it had never happened to me before that
Yeah,
somebody wanted
yeah,
to attack me or something.
yeah. So
So
that sounded like a smart move right then, especially when you've never dealt with that. Just get on out of there. So that did you know did you recognize that lady at all? You've never seen her before?
no, I had never seen him before.
Huh.
I
And
usually
that was
see people that I know, like my mom, my brother, or some people in
sure.
the street. But I mean, that was a person that I had never seen in my life.
That's interesting, and that was in your living room.
Yeah, I know.
I wonder, let me know what you think. Is your house old?
Sort of.
A lot of
Um,
families have lived in it in the past?
well, I don't think so, but I know that there were sort of, how do you call these brawls or sort of big fights among people in the past here. There were
Oh
no
yeah.
houses, but only like fields. And I think this house was built like 70 years ago, I think.
70.
Yeah, more or less. But I don't know. As I said, I don't know who that lady was. That's the only experience I've had with a person like that or somebody who wanted to attack me.
I
Uh,
I only ask that because I've heard of I've heard of stories of people that kind of get trapped in where they lived for a long time or where they passed away, and then their soul is kind of for some reason they're kind of attached to that area and then they stay there, and then if they died in a negative state or something like that, I don't know, depressed or whatever it is, then their soul goes on to kind of, I don't know, they're kind of tormented by that, and they kind of exist there on that plane, until they don't. And Rick, once again, he's actually liberated people that are going through exactly what I just described, and different cases, actually kind of snapping them out of it and whatever, changing your form and talking to them, but helping them find release and forgiveness or whatever. And then at that point, they're no longer there. They've moved on, whatever. So I don't know. That's just the first thing that came to my mind, and I thought I would just shoot that out there at you and see what you thought.
well, I read about that. Like, I mean, if you get more experienced and you get more acquainted with astral projection, you can actually help souls, right? The souls that are like
Yeah,
trapped in a place, and they can just move on and go to higher places. So that's
yeah,
so cool what you just said about Rick and his
yeah.
experiences.
That's pretty awesome, man. Maybe one day you'll save someone like that.
I hope so. I mean, after I get this objective of mine, well, now I have that goal, but I know for sure there is life after death, and I know that they are in a happy place. Well, I hope so. And if there is a happy place where they can be, I also think that forgiveness is part of it, right?
Oh yeah.
So that makes me feel a bit calmer and better.
See,
So
dude, isn't that amazing about astral projection? That's beautiful about astral projection. It really, it kind of removes the whole fear and unknowingness of death, and beyond the veil and stuff. And in your case, you found peace or joy from that, or what you just said. I just think that would be, oh man, such a very beneficial thing to humanity, if more people experience that and it was normalized and stuff. And you
yeah,
know,
no.
it's pretty cool.
And you have been trying different techniques, or nothing seems to work.
I don't know where I'm at, man. I don't. I tried really hard in the beginning, and then I stopped, and then I tried even harder. But then, like, trying hard for me is kind of lame. I'm like, okay, you're dedicated. You actually busted out, and you were practicing every day for 2 months, right? Is that what you said, or even longer? I
Yeah,
don't know, but
sure.
yeah, like that's awesome, man. Good for you. That's hard work and that's dedicated. You deserve it. Me, I did practice, and I would take time, and I think I did do it for close to a month, where I took time out of the day, like an hour, and I just never had success. And then after that, it wasn't really. I don't know if it was like a combination of discouragement and just kind of like and more like contempt with just it not happening, and just like I can live with it. It's not, I'm not trying to force it anymore. But, and that's kind of where I'm at now. Like I do want to get there. I definitely do. And, but I don't know. I'm kind of just rambling now, but I haven't gotten there, but I will in the future. I need to practice hard like you is what I need to do, Chris. I need to practice hard like you.
Yeah, try to
Um,
just find maybe 2 hours where you can lie down and try, because I think for more experienced people, 1 hour is enough. Even 40 minutes, they can just get out of their bodies. But if you're learning, probably 2 hours will be fine, because probably you fall asleep, but you wake up again, you try again, and maybe it works. It has happened to me a lot of times that I try to do it, I fall asleep, I go to the bathroom, then I go back to sleep, and it works. Then I get into the state, right?
yeah,
So it probably works also for you.
that's
There are so many
encouraging.
techniques that you can find.
Yeah. That's encouraging. Thanks, Chris. Yeah. I think most of my, when I was practicing, I would fall asleep, and then that was kind of discouraging. And when I woke up, I need to do what you're saying. I need to try again after I wake up, maybe go to the bathroom, get a water, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's encouraging. Cool, man. I
And
appreciate
something
that.
else that you may do that in my work is like writing down every single dream you have. I mean, you remember your
Oh yeah.
dreams. Writing them down can also kind of activates your consciousness. At least that's what someone told me to do. And in that way, when you are in that place and you're lying down, you're just about to fall asleep. Maybe your subconscious can help you get into that. No?
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a great idea. Did you dream journal when you were
yeah,
practicing?
well, I try to. Sometimes I'm just like feeling I don't want to do anything,
Yeah.
like just being there, lying down. And if I wait too much, then I forget what I have dreamed.
Yeah.
But I tend to write down things on a notebook. Like for example here, right? I just make some notes and
Oh, there you go.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah. And at first, when I read this book I told you about, I did just exactly what he suggested in his book. And I just wrote, for example, I will have an out of the body experience, like 10 times or 20 times, and it's supposed to just stick to your mind, and then you eventually do it yourself, right? So
Oh,
at
that's
least I mean
awesome.
I don't know if it has worked for me, but I try to do it. I mean I try
Yeah.
to do as many techniques as I could find,
Yeah.
and well,
I,
I
I,
think it worked.
yeah, it did. Awesome. Did you? It's really cool how that was the first book that you read too. It's not like you had to dive into a million books to get where you're at. You found one that was obviously the one that worked for you, and you learned a lot from. So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
The you would write that down. The I will have an out of body experience. You would write that 10 times in the mornings, afternoons, dream
Oh, I
journal.
did that before attempting to have this astral projection,
Gotcha.
just before going to bed. But as I said, at night doesn't work for me. I don't know why. I just fall asleep. But then I try to do it in the mornings when I was learning, and it didn't happen very regularly.
Yeah.
And eventually it worked. I think
Cool.
it worked for several times. Like once it happened, then every 2 weeks it happened, and then it was like every week. And like 1 month ago, it happened like every 2 days. But after
Whoa.
September the 2nd, I didn't have any more experiences. So I don't know,
Oh.
maybe I've run out of fuel or something, and I
Yeah.
need to get some energy back.
Hey, you need to go to the spa, get a massage,
Yeah, I think so.
go to the jacuzzi, get a nice snack, an ice cream, whatever. I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah, you gotta refuel whatever it is, man. But
Yeah, but all these ideas about writing things down came from William Bulmer's book. And that
William
helped me
Bowman.
because, I mean, he talks about all his experiences, right? And then he started like pointing out the methods and also the steps. And I think it has
That
been
sounds
pretty helpful.
informative.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds like a good book right there, for starters, especially.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, Chris. I don't know. What do you think? Do you want to stick around? You want to talk more? I don't really know. I'm kind of at that point. I'm not sure. Man, I am sweating my face off, and I need to change my setup. I don't know what I got going on, but I am really hot in here, and I need to do something about that for the next interview. But I don't know. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling fine. I was a little discouraged this morning since I tried to do it. I mean, try to do it again, the astral projection thing, but it didn't work, and I, felt a little down because of that. But I just then thought of that, or Ricky, perhaps, like trying that maybe tomorrow or this weekend to get this refill of energy.
Yeah.
I always try to enter these pages to get information and comments from people who have had experiences. Like, for example, your page. And also, there's another page that I have joined where also there are a lot of experienced people, and they also talk about these amazing journeys they have had.
Yeah.
Also, I try to ask questions like, hey, how do you do that or this? And they just make it look so easy, but once you try it, it means it's not that easy. I know it takes time.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm feeling fine.
Reiki, can you do Reiki on yourself? Or do you need somebody else to do it?
No,
You can't do
yes.
it on yourself?
I once I had one person do that, and it sort of helped, I think, because I was not sure if my chakras were like a little out of place, and she told me no, everything was fine. But then I joined this workshop. There is a lady from Chile called Mabel, and she had this topic of lucid dreaming and astral projection. So she told us that we could also do that to ourselves, like meditate and touch our heads and parts of our body, feel all this energy, have a connection with nature, and in that way we could like get all this energy and be able to astral project. So yeah, I think you can do it to yourself.
I think you can too. I do this these little videos, like meditation videos, and one thing is like this reminds me of like when I'll close my eyes and I'll breathe in and I'll imagine like I'm absorbing energy from nature, the trees, bees, everything, and then I'm exhaling carbon dioxide, which feeds the trees, so I'm kind of like giving back to them. So it's this constant getting it energy and then kind of giving it. And I think so that makes a lot of sense that you could do Reiki on yourself. And yeah, there's so many different ways, I think.
I realized.
Also,
what's that, Chris?
I was just going to say, and then there's YouTube, and there are people, it's really cool, like here's the camera, they'll be like doing kind of Reiki on you and stuff like that. And it's pretty cool. There's all sorts of ways.
Yes. No, I was about to say that I realized that there is a lot of visualization when you do these kind of things. I have to imagine lots of things like your energy coming in, coming out. When you want to astral project, also imagine that maybe you walk out of your room, imagine objects in a very clear way, all the details. So if there is something difficult difficult for you, you have to practice that a lot. Like visualizing things.
Yeah, no, that makes absolute sense. I'm really glad you said that, because my imagination, I'll be honest with you, it's not the best. I just don't imagine things a lot, and when I do try to imagine things, they're not vivid at all. So I got to ask you, Chris, have you always naturally had a really good vivid imagination, or is that something no?
No, I mean the first time I tried, which was this year when I saw all these techniques, I got all these images that there was no control or order whatsoever in my mind. Like I tried to think of something, and there were like people moving and things out of place, and I couldn't focus on one single thing that I was trying to focus on. So just with practice, I could do it like better and better. And I'm not like an expert, but I can say that when I concentrate like very hard, I can do it. One of the techniques that, for example, this man mentioned in his book was like walking. Imagine that you are walking out of your room and going to living room, for example. You have to choose 3 objects that are familiar to you or have a meaning to you, and you need to remember all the details and imagine them like the way they are. Yes, and I tried to do that really hard, and at first it seemed to work, but then I had no more experiences, and I thought that maybe that was not a technique for me, and I tried different things. No? But yes, I think that helped me a little bit more to improve my visualization or imagination.
Yeah. So that was one practice. So what was the practice again? So basically you walk out of the living room and you remember 3 things in vivid detail?
Yeah, sure. You choose one room in your house and three
Yeah.
objects that you can find there
Yeah.
that maybe you like a lot, right? Maybe a painting or your sofa or the curtains, and you need to remember the details, like also, for example, how they feel when you touch them, like the
Oh, yeah.
fabrics and stuff like that, and try to remember everything. Like activate all your senses when you are imagining.
Yeah.
Try to remember the smells, the touch, how it feels,
Yeah.
the looks, everything there.
Cool.
And yes, I think it's hard to do. I mean, it's not something easy to do, but with practice, I think one person can eventually do it. Like
Well,
imagine everything.
and you're living proof of that, right? Like you've noticed your imagination just getting a lot better, being a lot more detailed.
Yeah, that's why I told you
Nice.
that I imagine this kind of light
Oh,
above
yeah.
my head and imagining that and like feeling it goes around all my body. It has helped a lot. I think it's part of that the techniques that have better work for me.
Yeah. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome, Chris.
So I think that I mean imagination and visualization are important things to keep in mind when trying to astral project.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Well, that's cool, Chris. Well, I don't want to keep you all night or anything, man. You know, I appreciate you so much for talking to me.
No, don't worry. I appreciate you letting me give you some information about my experiences because sometimes it's hard to talk to people and not having this kind of reaction like hey stop doing that like that's just dreaming or I don't believe what you're saying or stuff like that so
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
everybody's open to the topic.
Yeah, I gotta ask you. I feel like in due time, more people are becoming more open to it. Have you noticed that same thing where more people are open to the possibility and will entertain a conversation with you about astral projection?
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. I have a couple of friends, or I think like four people in my friend circle that actually like listening to these stories, and they
Yeah.
have also had some experiences, especially sleep paralysis, and they believe in all this stuff, right? But there are some other people who are not like they are like,
Yeah.
hey, stop doing that. Go look
Yeah.
for a psychologist or something like that, and say,
Yeah.
hey,
And you're
that's
like,
me.
come on, man, you got to give it a
Yeah,
chance, dude.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. I think we just give it more time and more people will be more open to it. And especially if something like this, right? If people see this, I think they'll be more open to it, and that's cool. And you coming on and talking to me, like even just this conversation has been massively beneficial. So I appreciate you. I like owe you, I didn't. You come on here for free and generous and just take your time out of your day to talk. So I appreciate you. If there's anything I can do for you, Chris, you let me know, and I'll definitely be up for it. I can put something in the comments or the description of the video, or I don't know, anything for you. Just let me
Um,
know.
no, don't worry, that's fine. I mean, I really appreciate it anyway. But I know as long as this can help somebody there who is having also this kind of experiences, who have trouble not knowing what to do or where to get some information from, maybe this can help, right? At least I mentioned this
Oh
book
yeah.
that has helped me, and I know that there are a bunch of books that also have good content and can help people learn how to astral project, right? At least I think I have been lucky enough to get access to that book and follow the information there, and so far it has worked for me. So maybe it can work also for other people.
Yeah. Yeah, good for you, man. What's the name of the book again?
Adventures Beyond the Body by William Bullman.
William Bowman. Gotcha.
Yes.
Maybe I'll put that in the description. Well, cool, Chris. I don't know. A little outro. Anything else we should say? Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Um, well, if I have any other experiences, I really hope to go to higher planes. That will be the best thing that can ever happen to me. I will let you know and post something in your Facebook
Yeah.
page. But that would
Yeah.
be cool. I don't know. I hope maybe it's in a couple of months, maybe in 1 year.
Yeah.
I've heard of people spending like 8 years or 7 years trying to astral
Oh,
project.
really?
Yeah,
That'll be a lot sooner for you, man. And then
I hope
it'll
so.
come you'll have a bunch of them. And no, dude, it's gonna be great. You're gonna be soaring to all sorts of planes, talking to your loved ones. It's going to be awesome, man. I'm super excited for you. And maybe, hey, you know what? Maybe in a year or something, we'll reconnect and maybe we'll do another interview, and it'll be like part 2 of you talking about about all your experiences and stuff. Who knows? That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool, definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nick, for letting me speak to you today.
Chris, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And, hopefully I'll talk to you again soon.
See you around. Take
See
care.
you, man. Bye.
Bye.